Things falling apart. So I know something has to change. I don't know what the hell to change. I don't know what part of myself is making me do this to myself. But I know I can't go back and live this life anymore, right? Mm-hmm. So I need to live a new life. So you go into rehab in this case. I'm gonna go get treatment. That's the call to adventure. It's like an awakening. I know something's wrong, but I don't know how to fix it. Right? If I know how to fix it, I fix it, but I don't. Right. So I gotta go find somebody to help, some place or someone to help me. But I don't even know where to look for that, right? But then you arrive here, and now you're in treatment and you're at Zen. So the question then now becomes, okay, there is another life that you could be living if you choose to live that life. Mm-hmm. And you go, yeah, I want to live it. What do I have to do? Well, you have to heed the call to adventure, mm-hmm. this new adventure that's going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. That's great, but you can't just run out free and wild. Yeah, you gotta. You have certain responsibilities that you have to do, mm-hmm. which would be like if I'm going to Italy for the weekend, like I better maybe learn some Italian or have a map or buy the fucking plane ticket. I'm not just going to materialize there.
Or get your passport.
Get your passport.
Maybe do some research on what you like about Italy,
yeah, so I can explore it properly.
Yeah, exactly.
And appreciate the things when I arrive there and know that I've arrived.
Exactly.
Otherwise, how would you know?
And the best routes to get there too. Yeah.
That's where meeting the mentor comes in. Like you start looking, what kind of hero do I want to be, and that would then let me know what kind of mentor that I am looking for, mm-hmm. right? And getting the kind of advice that I need, and surrounding myself with people that can help usher me into this new life. Right. If I decide I'm going to heed the call and I'm going to go for it, but then I go hang out with all the same derelicts I was hanging out with before. Mm-hmm. How is that accepting the call to adventure? Right. That's going backwards to the ordinary world, in which you've already told me you're miserable in. Right?
Yeah.
So there's some work that has to be done here, which is why some people refuse the call. It sounds great and they want to do it, but they're not willing to do the little actions that make that move forward. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Why don't you think that people are willing to do these actions if they're little?
Because they're hard. They're little things, but they're hard. Like getting my driver's license, getting all my warrants taken care of, making sure my court stuff's done. Like all these little tiny things that are just little tiny little hobgoblin-y things that don't really bother you much, but then they're huge roadblocks when you try to go get a job and you try to do these other things. They bite you in the ass.
What do you think will help people overcome that?
We have to have someone helping you. There has to be a safe venue in order to do that, and some mentors who are willing to help you along the way and give you the little pieces of advice that you're going to need and the information that you're going to need. And you doing honor to that process by trusting it. Do you know what I mean?
And doing it.
What if Luke Skywalker didn't trust Obi-Wan Kenobi? He's like, who's this crazy fucking old man? Like, I ain't listening to you. He didn't do that. He said, oh yeah, like, I want to go into this I want to find this thing, like I need to, this old life living on this crappy planet is not the life for me. I know I'm better than this and I need something else. How do I get there? Well, you got to do this, this, and this. I don't want to do that. Mm. Okay, then you've refused the call. That's fine. But that's it. That's where we stop. We stopped at part 3. Refusal of the call, you know. Once you meet the mentor and you're given all the things, you're still not out of the woods, because then you're still going to run into that, the threshold guardian that blocks your way into this new world.
Right. Which
can be anything. That could be, I leave treatment and I got to go back to the hometown that I'm from, which is where my drug dealer lives, which is where my ex-girlfriend is, who's still using, who I have a child with. And do you know what I mean? There's all these big obstacles still that have to go be dealt with. Most people don't want to live the hero's life because it's dealing with all that stuff. The reward is way beyond anything you could even comprehend. But it's hard to see a reward that you don't know what it looks like. Right. Because you don't know. You don't know what that feels like.
That's the struggle, I think, with people. Like, they don't know what
so you don't
the
think
reward
it's worth
is.
It? Yeah.
So
I've never felt it.
Exactly.
Only a strong mentor can paint that picture for you enough to where you have enough faith to where that is going to be worth it. Because I think that's the bottom line. You just don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I could clean up all this stuff, but is it really worth it?
Do you think a strong mentor would be able to paint the picture of each person's individual hero's journey?
Not only paint the picture, but give you an insight into yourself that helps you look at things a different way. Because you have to change the way you look at stuff.
Right.
You can't just come here and perceive things the way you've always perceived them, because there's some sort of weird flaw in that. By your standard, because you're the one who's identified it that way. Right? We're not judging it as a flaw, you judged it as a flaw, right?
Right.
So I think the mentor would give you some sort of different way of looking at the same thing.
Okay.
Because the world's not changing, but your perspective can change
Right.
if you're willing to. And I believe it's the mentor's job to give you that perspective. It's your job to integrate it into how you see things.
Okay.
Even if you have to fake it in the beginning, just to pretend to do it, is enough in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what you mean in trusting the process, trusting the mentor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this isn't going to be easy. It is going to get harder before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
But I trust me, the reward at the end is so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have to accept that on faith, because I have no way of demonstrating that to
Right.
you. It's impossible to demonstrate something that's impossible to even articulate to you. It's going to be so profound you can't articulate it. Or in other words, you can't describe it.
Mm-hmm.
It defies definition. It's your own personal hero's journey.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But if you never got past the threshold, Guardian, you'll never know.
How do you know? How do you know if? How do you know if if you are putting enough effort into this journey?
How do you know if you're putting in enough effort?
Yeah, like
if your efforts are not leading to change,
to change.
then you're not putting in enough effort.
If you're still where you're at, like when you
Yeah.
started the program, you're not putting in enough effort.
Yeah. If I want to get out of this room and I start pushing on the glass and nothing happens,
You're not growing.
I guess I didn't put enough effort into it. I better push harder or find some other way out of here if I really want out of here. What's the evidence that I'm not trying hard enough? I'm still stuck in this fucking room. That's the evidence. The change has not occurred. Still wallowing in the old world.
Right. There's nothing new out of.
Yeah, you would know.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
And the question is, do you just need more effort into the thing that you're doing, or a completely refocused effort in a completely different direction?
Yeah.
Maybe going through the door glass wasn't maybe going underneath the floorboards was the easier way. Maybe popping the ceiling tiles is the better way. Have you tried every way? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just, well, I just need to put more force into the way that I was doing it. That's not necessarily the answer. That's like, you don't understand what I'm saying, so I say it louder.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if that really helps.
No, that totally helps. Yeah.
Well, no, by saying it louder.
Oh yeah.
How's that going to help you understand what I'm saying better?
Yeah.
Unless you're deaf. But you're not. Yeah.